Hi everybody, welcome to this Java tutorial. Today we're going to look at just how to set up a project in your IDE and how to get started with writing code in your IDE. Okay, as you can see in my IDE, which is Eclipse, I'm already doing lots of different programming projects. Okay, so today we're just going to set up a new project. So in Eclipse, I'm going to go to File, New, Java Project. I'm going to call this the Welcome Project. You can give your project any name you want, and that's all I have to do in Eclipse. Now, in my list of projects, I have the Welcome Project. And if I try to look in my source folder, this is where all my coding files will exist. There's nothing there. So I need to create my first file of code. Okay, so there are a couple of ways to do this. I could double tap and go to New. What kind of file do I want? Actually, I want a code file, and in Java, a common code file is referred to as a class. So we want to create a Java class. Okay. Another way to do that is to select the source file and then go to File, New, Class. Now, every Java project will require you to have one main function. Now, we'll talk a little bit about functions in a moment, but every Java project will require you to have a main function. So you need to select this box in Eclipse. You can give the name of the class and whatever name you want, but because this class file is going to store my main function, I always call this class file my main class file. In Java, with class file names, Java class names, you should start with a capital letter. Okay, so let's finish that and see what happens. Brilliant! I've got my main class file. It's called main.java, and this is the start of the file here. And here is my main function. When we run a program in Java, the first thing that is found is the main function. And we can go into the main function and start to write some code. So let's use system.out.print, and let's put a message into the program. Okay? So when we run this, in the console, we get the output of, or the result of, the code that was executed in the main function. Now, these curly brackets here are very important. This curly bracket, the parentheses, is the start of the main function, and this is the end of the main function. And if it's not there, we're going to have a problem. Okay, immediately we see an error message or an error indicator. And if I try to run my program, I will get a warning. Errors exist. Let's try and run it and see what happens. Ooh, we've got a syntax error. Syntax. Syntax is like grammar for computer code. So if you're missing commas or semicolons or quotation marks when you're trying to write your code, you will get a syntax error. The syntax error here is we're missing a parentheses to close the main function. In fact, I'm going to put a comment here, end of main function. Okay. Now, a computer program can have more than one function. So in Java, I'm going to create another function. I'm just going to follow this style here, public static void. Don't panic. if you don't know what these keywords mean at the moment. As you continue to study, we'll learn what these mean. So the name of this function is main. I'm going to create another function called, just going to be creative here, goodbye. This is my goodbye function. And all I'm going to do is, in the goodbye function, the purpose of this function is to say goodbye 3 times. That's all it does. Okay? So let's just code the function so that it can achieve its purpose. So we're going to use system.out.println goodbye. And let's just copy and paste that 3 times. And this is the end of the goodbye function. Okay, just a comment, just so I know what this parentheses means, because there's lots of parentheses now happening in the code. So a comment will help you figure out where you are. Okay, now let's run the program and see all of our messages. Hang on a minute. Where are my goodbye messages? So as I told you, when we run a Java program, we come into the main function. This is the starting point. We come in, we execute this line of code. Oh, then there's no more code. It's the end of the program. That's the end. It only does this. That's what our main function does. If we want to run the goodbye function, which we've designed here, this is the design of the function, but in the main function, we want to call the goodbye function. We want to call it. So let's call it. We're going to call this function. When we reach this line of code, we're going to jump to this function. It will execute. It will finish. And then it will return to the main program. And then we will see end of program. Okay? So let's run this and see if it works. Okay. So there's a very brief introduction to getting started with your IDE and a main function with some output and possibly some more function designs that we can call in our main function. Have a go.